Our next and our third finalist is ParkIt, and to give us the proposal is Stein Christensen. I don't know if you want to. Yeah. And here's the.
This one wireless. I like that. Alrighty. Am I waiting on a word, or am I just diving right into this? Alrighty. Well, hi. We are ParkIt, the Airbnb of college campus parking. My name is Stein Christensen, co-founder and CTO, and it's time we faced it. Parking on college campuses is outrageously expensive, completely inconvenient, and results in way too many parking tickets. So we set out to find a better way. Now, I'd like you all to meet Sally here, and like you, if you've ever been a university student, she's sick of jamming the last for ramen money into parking meters and parking permits. And she's tired of paying for parking permits that she can't even use because her greedy university has oversold her parking spaces. In fact, over 95% of college campuses oversell their lots. But she really feels a burn when it comes time to pull out her wallet. The average university parking pass costs $515, with some universities charging over $1,000 per semester. Now, that's a lot of money to pay for a parking space you can't even find. Now I'd like you all to meet property owner Pete. Now, enterprising people like Pete currently sell their parking spaces next to college campuses, but they're tired of a process that's informal, inefficient, and unorganized. They take old-fashioned checks in the mail, market their spaces on Craigslist where no one's looking for parking, and keep track of it all on complicated spreadsheets. So we built a parking marketplace that connects the 16 million students, staff, and faculty with affordable and reserved parking. And we connect them to the 8 million unused parking spaces at homes, businesses, and churches, who we give extra revenue and an easy management portal to keep track of it all. Parking is the top complaint at universities, and it's only getting worse. Attendance is booming, and the supply of parking spaces is continually shrinking as universities pave over parking lots to make room for new classrooms. And universities aren't doing anything to solve this problem. It costs them on average $16,000 per parking space just to build a parking garage. Parking in the US is a $32 billion annual market, with colleges taking up nearly $2 billion worth of this. However, we're focused on a $240 million market niche opportunity surrounding college campuses alone. Here's a look at our platform, which is currently up and running and generating its revenue. Interested renters can simply select their university and view the available supply of parking around their campus. If they find a spot they like, they can simply agree to our terms and conditions and inquire about the space. And these terms offer legal protection for ParkIt as well as our users. And mind you, $50 a month for a reserved parking space saves our customers both time and money compared to a $75 a month unreserved space through CSU. Then we collect some information about their rental, such as the car they're driving, as well as the length of their rental, which we set to a minimum of a month. Then Stripe collects their payment information, and once the host confirms their reservation, they are charged every month. And this is where our revenues come from. We take a 20% of the transaction that comes through every month. From the dashboard, hosts can easily manage their rentals. If they approve the renting request, that renter is free to park. And this dashboard offers higher user retention and stickiness because we manage all of this host's parking information and wait lists stretching far into the future. As for our scaling strategy, we are currently in our Colorado market testing. We currently operate at CSU, and we will expand to DU and CU in April. We are collecting data to see which of the markets our platform works best in based on population density, percent of commuter students, and price of parking on campus. After 6 months of data collection, we begin phase 2. Using the data points we found to make the most effective markets, we will select 8 markets across the West Coast to expand to, planning a university-to-university road trip. Airbnb found this boots-on-the-ground strategy to be 5 times more cost-effective than launching markets through traditional online mediums. We will develop playbooks at each of the different types of universities we come across on how to best launch and maintain that type of market. In phase 3, June of 2019, we will use these playbooks to train a series of campus rep programs allowing ParkIt to quickly scale across the country. Now, when it comes to opening new markets, we have 3 steps: build supply, build demand, and maintain the market. We build supply through door-to-door sales, supplemented by online marketing. And once we have the supply, we find the demand. We find demand through on-campus booths, supplemented by online marketing. And these relationships are easy to maintain once they're in place. And one of the most important relationships we have is that with the local tow company who helps us monitor our lots. And of course, We build supply and demand, or we maintain supply and demand through remote location via both mailers and online marketing. We expect this to cost $2,500 a year. This means that each market generates us $15,500 annually. And this profit is realized after an 8.5-month break even and a $5,000 initial launch cost. So let's say we were to win $25,000 in a pitch competition somewhere, well, we'd be able to launch 5 markets. Here you can see our scaling strategy played out over 5 years. As you can see, we break even in year 3. And remember, these revenues just come from our 20% take. So in year 5, we will be processing $12.5 million through our platform, $2.5 million of which will be our revenues. We've done the math, and we'd be happy to answer any specific questions you have regarding our financials during Q&A. However, what's important to know is that these financials are based on our current renter acquisition cost of $10, our current host acquisition cost of $10, and our estimated lifetime value of a renter of $180. This means that each renter gives us a 6 times return. Since our launch in August of last year, we have pulled in $3,000 in just 4 months. This year, we expanded our offerings and we're projected to make $25,000 in 8 markets. Come 2019, we will grow our team to 4, as well as expand to commuter and airport parking. 2019 also marks the beginning of our automated expansion using those campus rep programs we talked about earlier. Beyond 2019, we're going to grow our team to 13 by 2022, and we will also begin conversations with potential acquirers. Our competition is growing quickly. However, our key differentiator is our focus around college markets. Our competition focuses on selling short-term parking solutions in large commercial garages, and that's completely overlooked as college students who are looking for long-term parking solutions at affordable, non-commercial rates. ParkIt will become the market leader in the college parking industry and develop IP around standard operating procedures on how to best launch and maintain college markets. A little bit about the team. My name is Stein Christensen. I'm CTO. I have 4 years of experience developing websites. Our CEO, Cody Grand Prix, is head of business development, and he has previous management experience in a successful startup. On our advisory board backing us up, we have Mike Black, who has experience developing mapping software for the parking industry. He has various insights and connections into this industry. Matt Goodrich is a Google software engineer who helps us keep everything technical on our team up to best standard. And Carmelo Menino is CEO of Stoit, a similar platform to ours except for storage, and he also has a previous successful acquisition under his belt. Companies like ours are actively being acquired. Spot Hero recently acquired Parking Panda for its partnerships with events, and BMW recently acquired Park Mobile for its position as a market leader. We believe being a market leader in the college parking industry would make us an attractive acquisition. Companies like Spot Hero are looking to strengthen their hold on US markets, while companies like Just Park of the UK are looking to break into US markets. But let's not forget, a future of self-driving vehicles is not so far away. Companies like Uber and Waymo have large fleets of autonomous vehicles and know where to put them during off hours. Our IP of a distributed network of parking spaces is valuable information for an Uber or a Waymo who are looking to park their vehicles in high traffic areas rather than pull them out of town to a centralized lot. And it's important to note that while we are looking for a profitable and successful acquisition, we can continue to grow this business and be profitable for all parties involved for many years to come. We've already proven our traction and found our market viability. Now we're ready for aggressive growth. We're currently raising a seed round, $100,000 for 20% of our company. This will get us through our Colorado market testing as well as our westward expansion. Upon further platform validation, we'll be raising a Series A in 2019, $250,000 for 25%. This will fund our campus rep programs as well as open up our new revenue streams. Now, a win here at Monfort will go towards our current seed round. However, more specifically, $10,000 will launch us at CU and DU. $5,000 will go towards an insurance plan. $5,000 will go towards new platform features. And the remaining $5,000 will go towards a PR campaign to fuel our westward expansion. So with that being said, I invite you to check us out at www.parkit.market to find a parking space or sell your parking place. So students like Sally can feel free to hit that snooze button before our 8 a.m. class on Monday. They can all rest easy knowing their parking space is secured. Thank you, and I'd like to invite our CEO, Cody Grand Prix, up to answer any questions if you have them. Thank you.
So one question, when you guys presented last time, if I'm correct, you showed revenues, forecasted revenues for 2018 of 60K. Now you're showing 25. What changed?
Yeah, absolutely. So the transition into the monthly parking actually took longer than we expected. We were busy learning from our customers, so we ended up removing the payment function from our platform in order to really get in between our two sets of customers so we could learn exactly what they were looking for. So that did set us back about 2 months, which is where those numbers came from.
And if I could just add something we discovered when we did take ourselves back out of the equation to learn from our customers in the payment system is that people want to negotiate on these prices a little bit for longer term parking. And before we didn't have that option on our platform, the price was the price. And so taking that step was a big learning experience for us, and now we're building in that feature into our platform to allow a little bit of price negotiation between people.
So why would you negotiate if there's no competition?
So the negotiation happens between just the host and the renter. So for instance, we had a renter who last month signed up with us, and he said, well, I want to be here for a long time, set my expiration date out 2 years. However, this isn't something, I don't have a lot of money on me right now. And so the host just said, you know what, okay, we'll drop the price a little for you. We can make this work. So in situations like that, we found that having that negotiation piece is something our users are actually looking for. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
So you said for 100K, you'll give away 20% of your company.
That's correct.
Would you give away 33% of your company?
That's something that we would consider. The reason we got to that valuation, though, is based on our potential acquisition value from previous acquisitions in the space, as well as our future cash flows on top of that. But yeah, the reason we got to that valuation is based on our potential acquisition value down the future, based on the previous ones.
Well, thanks. I was kind of kidding. Shark Tank.
Are you Mr. Wonderful in this situation? Why don't I check out?
I do have a serious question on the 20%. How did you establish the 20% for what you take from the host?
You're talking about, okay, the host.
The revenue, right. So you take 20% of the negotiated.
Yeah, absolutely. So we came to this conclusion just based on basically a conglomerate of all the sharing economy models seen in today's economy. So Airbnb, Uber, and a lot of the other models do take that 80-20% cut. What we are doing, though, is we're actually charging the host 10% and then upcharging the renters 10%. So the hosts don't actually see a 20% cut from their revenues. We actually upcharge on top of their listing price. So they only see a 10% decrease in the price that they list it for. But this is very typical for the sharing economy.
Okay, thank you.
Do you guys take any legal liability for, let's say, a car getting parked, getting damaged, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we do have our terms and conditions that protect us. We remove ourselves from the equation, stating that we're simply the matching party in this equation and a payment processor. However, as Stein mentioned, if we were to win today, we do want to set aside some money for an insurance plan. And then going into the future as well, we have started talks with Lloyd's of London, who's the primary insurer in the sharing economy. And we do want to set up an insurance policy for all of our hosts and renters down the future. So this is just a stepping stone to get us there.
So currently, there isn't any insurance?
There is not, no. Our terms and conditions remove us from the equation.
You talked about the launch costs a little bit in each market. I think you had pretty low numbers, like $5,000 to launch a market, right? So are you just utilizing cheap student labor, and what size market will that allow you to launch?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Stein was talking about briefly, right now our space acquisition cost is around $20, and our renter acquisition, $10, and our renter acquisition cost is $20. So our market saturation in individual markets is around 250 spaces around college campuses, and that's just based on our current data that we've gathered so far, maintaining a market at CSU. So that includes all of our online advertising as well as door-to-door sales and on-campus booths. And that's how we got to the 5,000.
Okay. Do you see, trying to think about your target markets, right? So is it as simple as we just need to target universities where parking is limited, or are there distinctions between going after a massive school like CU versus smaller schools?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we're currently testing right now. We've launched at CSU. As Stein said, we'll be launching at CU and DU to really figure out what makes a market viable. So we're gathering data on all the different points, such as population density, percent of on-campus, or percent of commuter students, as well as parking options. So we're figuring out what data points really determine a market's viability. Right now, there's a lot of universities that are paving over their parking lots, as Stein had mentioned, and this is becoming a bigger and bigger issue. We've actually been in talks with several universities as well who are looking at helping us market our platform at their universities because they don't want to go through that $16,000 per parking space cost to build more parking. They want to just better utilize the current inventory of spaces around these universities. So if we can get universities like that on board as well as the cities, it's going to be an easy way to expand having a partner like that on board.
So, a little bit on his question. You've made the decision to go to CU and DU. What made you not come to Greeley?
Yeah, I think it's simply based on the market saturation. There's more parking here per student than there is at some of those other universities, DU especially. I'd say UNC is very similar to CSU. So the characteristics are very closely tied. So really CSU is our test market for this type of market then.
How many spaces have you rented out at CSU?
Currently at CSU, just from the monthly parking model, we've sold 9. However, this is just after launching our monthly parking model at the very end of January. So we're still gearing up. We have around 160 spaces listed, which we've actually just been signing more and more on recently these past couple of weeks. So we're really going to shift our efforts into finding that demand for the spaces now.
And the $2,500 ongoing maintenance fee you came up with, or cost, give me a little detail on that. How'd you come up with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it all comes into play where our space turnover rate, as well as maintaining the relationships with our current lot. So right now, a lot of churches are signing up on our platform. So there's going to be relationships that we can maintain relatively cheaply. It's going to be the turnover of the renters that really plays into that cost. Just retargeting new renters as students are only school for 4 years. Really, they're in our target market for 3 of those years. So that's why we have the around $2,500.
If the judges have no more questions, I'll open it up to the audience. Please come forward to the microphone. Ah, the shy ones. Don't you want to ask them where they got their trousers from? Let's hear it for ParkIt. Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you.